Welcome to another edition of Daily Airline News, focusing on the search for MH370. I'm Jeffrey Thomas, and today I'm delighted to say, joined by my co-host Blaine Gibson. Good afternoon to you, Blaine.
And good afternoon to you, Jeffrey.
Now, Blaine, we've got a special episode because you've got two more pieces of debris to show us and talk about today, which brings the total number of pieces of debris found from MH370 to 50, 50, which is a real milestone. So, Blaine, you can kick this off by talking to the two pieces of debris, and we'll be showing the viewers those pieces as you talk to them on the screen. So it's all yours, my friend.
Well, yes, I will. And these two bring the total number of debris to 50. There were 33 in the Annex 13 report, 10 that were found and reported and identified by photos, and 5 that I have shown here, bringing the total to 48, and these two bring it to 50. Now, of those 50, 26 were found and collected by local people by me. And 24 were found by more than 20 different people in 6 different countries, people who were totally unrelated to me. Now, these two debris are clearly shattered interior cabin debris. They are small, and they do not tell us anything that we didn't already know, or at least that investigators and rational people did not already know. But since some people in 370 land are still claiming that the plane is intact underwater, which is ridiculous, I think it's important to show these pieces that indicate further proving that the plane and the main cabin and the fuselage shattered on impact. So here is one of them. And you've got a picture of that too to show closer up. This I have carried around and used as a sample to show local people what to be on the lookout for. And it's been viewed and examined by professional engineers and investigators on Annex 13 who said, fine, use it as a sample to get more pieces. It's too small for Malaysia to be interested in, but it has been identified by professionals. And it is interior cabin honeycomb, 3/8 inch thick. And so this is piece number 49, and piece number 50, you can show a picture of it right now. It is similar in that it is 3/8 inches thick. It is small. It's about the same dimensions as this one, about 3 inches by 5 inches, shattered brown honeycomb, typical of Malaysia interior cabin debris. So that's 2 more pieces of shattered interior cabin debris, honeycomb, that float, and that brings the total number of recovered shattered cabin debris to 19. So that's a lot of pieces. So when people claim, oh, well, there's been no debris recovered, blah, 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 very few pieces. No, there's a lot of pieces. It's just that a lot of them are very small and don't get noticed, don't get picked up, and don't significantly add individually to the investigation. But as a whole, small pieces of a big puzzle, they're very important.
In fact, with the size of that debris, Blaine, it's little wonder that more has not been found, because if it's all of that dimension, then it's very easy to hide, to be buried somewhere, just to be floating around even still in the circular motion of the Indian Ocean current, just going around and around and around. And it'll, some pieces I would imagine might turn up 25 years' time on some lonely beach somewhere as it just goes round and around.
Well, that's exactly right. And I would add that these 2 pieces were found by local people on Sirica, Madagascar, washed ashore back in 2016. And one I have been using as a sample I showed it to the Malaysians, and the other one is on its way. It's just one that's been sitting there for a while that my local friends told people, do you have anything like this? And yeah, it turned up. People sometimes pick up things and save them.
Yes, they do, and lots of people do souvenir hunting, and it's a big pastime in Australia. It's just, we call it beach combing, and I'm sure it's called beach combing all over the world. Just you just wander around looking for interesting little bits and pieces that have washed up, and that looks fascinating, and it sits on your mantelpiece, and you wonder, what its story is. Where did it come from? Why is it there? What stories does it have to tell? It's quite a fascinating pastime, beach combing. So, as I
Yes.
said, I think we'll be finding pieces of MH370 for decades and decades to come, around the Indian Ocean rim. But on the search for MH370, you would have been very excited by the news that the search will definitely resume in November.
Yes, I'm very happy to hear that. I'm happy to hear that confirmed. I always believed that. I always thought that. I took Ocean Infinity at its word, and I'm very glad to hear that that is confirmed now. And I hope that they find it right away.
So do I. Absolutely, Blaine. Now, let's move on from the debris. I've got a few questions for you that I want to ask you that different people have put to me and put to the last video that we did. Irene AG 3994, why don't they want to look in the right place, and who doesn't want it found? A couple of good questions there for you, Blaine. I know we've covered them from time to time, but let's revisit those.
Well, that depends on who they is. Ocean Infinity and the serious investigators, and Fugro and ATSB, they want to search in the right place. They're just trying to find out what the right place is.
Yeah.
And they've been trying very hard, and it's quite clear that the right place is, I've always believed, in the UWA area. So they want to search in the right place. But the people who do not want to search in the right place, and there's a group in Malaysia that very clearly does not want to, they have attacked me for finding debris. They have spread a disinformation campaign that claims that the plane is in the South China Sea, the Malacca Strait, the Andaman Sea, basically anywhere but where it is. And that is not the Malaysian government. That is a Malaysian mafia group. And one of the lead bloggers was closely tied to close friends, he claimed to be, with Najib and Hishamuddin, Umno Party. And they do not want it found. Whatever the truth is that they are hiding, I do not know. There is a much larger group that simply wants it to go away and forget about it and not have to pay for it. That is different from the smaller group, but powerful group that does not want it found. And I also noticed that of the character assassination on me, a lot of it has come from that blogger I referred to in Malaysia, who has pushed the ridiculous Malacca Strait claims and Andaman Sea claims, and they're doing that again now. And also some has come from the Russian troll house. So there's a group in Russia that does not want it found either.
Yeah. So let's move on. Blaine, what types of people are supporting your efforts to retrieve 370 debris, and who and what interests and governments are opposing you? That's from Icarus 370, who's been a constant commenter on the website. And they go on and say, in your opinion, from what you have learned, was the killing of the consul related to his role in the collection and delivery of the 370 debris, or just a coincidence? So there's a couple of questions there for you, Blaine.
Well, starting out with the first one of who is supporting my efforts and who is opposing them, almost all of the 370 families very strongly support my efforts. And ATSB, the Malaysian investigation team, Annex 13, they all strongly support my efforts and were very helpful, even though for a while they were a little slow in getting the debris examined. That was a bureaucratic thing and delay. However, they've been receptive and good. Ocean Infinity and other underwater search companies have been very supportive. And the general public, who just want the truth, whatever it is, have been very supportive of my efforts. And I thank them for all the encouragement. And I thank all of you. Of the groups that do not want 370 found, I'd say there are three categories. One are the ones who don't want it found at all. And of course, they attack the person who is finding the debris. They had figured there would not be any debris. And then there are the others who really just want it to go away and forget about it. And then there are the others who do not want it found unless it is where they say it is. They've got some special pet theory that they adhered to 11 years ago, that the plane was in the South China Sea or Kazakhstan or the Straits of Malacca or the Andaman Sea, or that the plane is intact underwater. And they find the debris to be a very inconvenient truth that disproves their pet theories and that hurts their book sales and whatever agendas they're pushing. So that would be the other group. And that is, of course, a much larger group, but it is also very self-centered. To them, it's all about promoting their pet theories. And regarding the consul, were you going to ask me something more on that, Jeffrey?
No, I was going to remind you that was the next part of the question, Blaine. So move on with the consul.
Regarding the consul, in my belief, in the belief of people who knew him well and worked with him and his widow, we believe that it was related to the debris. There was no kidnapping. That was an invention. That did not happen. He was not related to any kidnapping. He's lived and worked and been a prominent businessman and diplomat in Madagascar for a long time, and found no threats against him, no danger, took no security measures. And it wasn't until 8 days after the debris was handed in and he finalized the protocol to be responsible for delivering it, that he was assassinated. So you would have to really stretch it to believe in coincidences. The investigators believed that, but could not prove it. They believed that at least the timing of it was. So they, while the word around there and in the investigation was, oh, it was an account settlement for something, it's pretty clear to me that the timing, at least, was related to the debris. And I don't think it was related to those specific pieces of debris. I had not made those pictures public. One of them was significant in that it was the vortex generator base plate from one of the engines that would tell us how the plane impacted the water. Another was just a shattered piece of interior cabin debris. But I think what they were worried about, what the people who do not want the plane found were worried about, was that I'd find some sort of USB or SD card or cell phone with a chip or computer chip, message in a bottle written by a loved one in haste that wrote what was happening on the plane. I think they were worried about that. They just felt it could be out of control. And the assassination of the consul did stifle the delivery and collection of debris. Since the consul was assassinated, all the debris that's gone to Malaysia to be examined has been sent there by me and my friends.
Yeah.
The one that was officially delivered in 2019, that had been handed over in 2017 when the consul was assassinated. That piece has been sitting in Malaysia for, what is it, 6 years, two
Yeah.
pieces,
Yeah.
with no investigation. So, yeah, I think so, but I can't prove it.
Yeah. So Nikos Papas 9289, Blaine, says, I believe that if they do not find the plane in the next 6 months, they never will. Got any thoughts on that one?
Well, I disagree with that. I think that they may find the plane in the next 6 months, but that would, because they're going to start in November, and 6 months from now would be in February. So they might, but if they don't find it in the next 6 months, they could find it in March or April of next year. Or if Ocean Infinity doesn't find it, I think someone else will. So I would not put a time limit on it. I believe that MH370 will be found probably in this search season, and if not, afterwards.
Okay. So from Atarata 5, P5, what is your opinion of the barnacles method and the claim that some parts of the plane entered the water later than March the 8th? I've never heard of that.
I totally dismiss that claim. That is ridiculous. No marine biologist or person who knows the ocean would make that claim. That is made by someone who wants the plane to be on land somewhere and is worried that the debris could disprove his theory. So he tries to discredit the debris and the people who find it. The truth about the barnacles is that they really don't say that much about where the plane crashed. And the reason for that is that the Lepus antiphora that were found on the flaperon and the Mauritius closet panel and a few other pieces of debris, they can attach anywhere. They're very widespread all over the southern Indian Ocean and northern Indian Ocean. They could attach anywhere. They could fall off anywhere. They grow at different rates in different temperatures of water. And as the debris flips around, like the flaperon probably did, there would only be certain periods where they would grow well. So the University of South Florida has come up with a formula that they think might help indicate where the 370 debris came from. The French investigated the flaperons and determined that the barnacles were consistent with the search area. So the problem is in 370 land, which is sort of like zombie land, people are all stuck on their pet theories and will do anything they can to protect their pet theory. And so they claim that the barnacles say things the barnacles don't say.
Yeah.
There's one guy who picked up an earthquake. The hydrophones picked up an earthquake in the Java Trench almost an hour after 370 crashed. And he says that was 370 sinking intact and imploding because of the lithium batteries, and that's why it was about an hour after the crash. And he says that the barnacles say that the plane comes from Java. Others say that the barnacles say that the plane hasn't been in the water at all. Others say it means it's way further south or up in a tropical area or the Maldives. People say whatever they want the barnacles to say.
Yeah.
And that's sad because the barnacles really don't say that much.
No, indeed, you're right. Yeah, so some interesting questions, and of course some great debris finds, Blaine. And I guess your friends are still scouring around, keeping their eyes open for bits and pieces that they might come across.
Yes, they are. They're very good. They are excellent. My local friends in Madagascar at identifying debris and know what is worth collecting and shipping. And as we speak, the debris is on its way,
Yeah.
and it needs to be privately investigated. And I'll be uh, publishing the photos of it here and asking for people's input on what this debris is. There are some significant pieces coming.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, look, viewers, that's all we've got time for today. So thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for the great comments and the great questions. We really appreciate that. And thanks, Blaine, for joining us.
Well, thank you very much, Jeffrey, and thanks to all viewers, and Malaysia 370 search on.